The stock market believed him. Wall Street adored him. And the competition feared him. Elon Musk had become the undisputed king of electric vehicles. Then came Koenigsegg. The Swedish hypercar manufacturer had always operated differently. While Tesla built factories the size of small cities, Koenigsegg worked with surgical precision in their facility in Angelholm. While Musk tweeted about conquering Mars, Christian von Koenigsegg quietly pioneered technology that would change Earth's transportation paradigm. In early 2025, that quiet work erupted into public view with the unveiling of what Koenigsegg calls the dark matter motor. This wasn't just another electric motor. This was engineering at its most revolutionary. The dark matter motor weighs just 86 pounds, about as much as a medium-sized dog, yet produces a staggering 800 horsepower and 922 pound-foot of torque. For comparison, the motors in Tesla's highest performance vehicles are significantly heavier and less power-dense. We weren't trying to incrementally improve existing technology, Christian von Koenigsegg explained during the unveiling. We wanted to completely rethink what an electric motor could be. Rethink it they did. The dark matter motor features what Koenigsegg calls a axial flux design, a hybrid of radial and axial flux motor technologies that delivers unprecedented power density. But the real breakthrough came in the materials. While Tesla and others continued the conventional design philosophy of electric vehicles, Koenigsegg realized the entire concept would need to change. Heavy battery packs suddenly seemed less necessary. The compromise between range and performance began to dissolve. And somewhere in Austin, Texas, Elon Musk was watching. The dark matter motor wasn't just challenging Tesla's technology, it was challenging their entire approach. While Tesla had spent years optimizing manufacturing to build more cars with incrementally better batteries, Koenigsegg had fundamentally redefined what was possible with electric propulsion. But the motor was just the beginning. What Koenigsegg revealed next would shake the foundations of the electric vehicle revolution itself. The world's first full carbon fiber electric motor wasn't created by Tesla, Mercedes, or any automotive giant with billions in R&D budgets. It came from a small manufacturer in Sweden that produces fewer cars in a year than Tesla makes in a day. How did they do it? The answer lies in Koenigsegg's unique approach to engineering. Unlike larger manufacturers constrained by supply chains and production timelines, Koenigsegg designs and manufactures almost everything in-house. We don't outsource our innovation, Christian von Koenigsegg explained. When we need something that doesn't exist, we create it ourselves. This philosophy led to the carbon fiber breakthrough that makes the dark matter motor possible. Every component that traditionally relied on stamped steel has been reimagined in ultralight, ultra-strong carbon fiber, the rotor, stator, and housing all made from carbon fiber. Traditional wisdom said this couldn't be done. Electric motors generate intense magnetic fields, and those fields are typically amplified by ferromagnetic materials like steel. By removing steel from the equation, Koenigsegg had to completely rethink how the motor would function. Their solution was as elegant as it was revolutionary: a permanent 6-phase winding system that distributes the magnetic load more efficiently while reducing thermal stress. Where conventional motors use 3 phases, Koenigsegg doubled that, creating a smoother power delivery system that eliminates the peaks and valleys that typically cause heat buildup. The result is an electric motor that doesn't just match the performance of conventional designs, it exceeds them dramatically while weighing a fraction as much. Koenigsegg didn't stop at the motor itself. The entire power delivery system received the same treatment. The silicon carbide inverter, named David, weighs just 33 pounds while delivering 1,300 amps of alternating current at 850 volts. For perspective, that's enough power to run a small neighborhood, packaged in something lighter than most carry-on luggage. When footage of Christian von Koenigsegg casually holding the entire motor system in his arms circulated online, the contrast with Tesla couldn't have been starker. The message was clear: the future of electric propulsion didn't have to be heavy, it didn't have to be compromised, and it didn't have to follow Tesla's playbook. The revolution was just beginning. Tesla's reign at the top of the electric mountain was built on 2 pillars: battery technology and the perception that no one could catch them. Koenigsegg's dark matter motor threatened both. The timing couldn't have been worse for Elon Musk. Just 3 days after Koenigsegg's revelation, he was scheduled to appear on a major financial news network for what was supposed to be a victory lap celebrating Tesla's latest quarterly results. Instead, the interview quickly turned to Koenigsegg's breakthrough. The television host questioned Musk about Koenigsegg's recent unveiling, suggesting many considered it a potential game-changer for electric propulsion. Musk's reaction became a defining moment. Uncharacteristically, he paused for 3 full seconds, an eternity in television time. The camera captured his subtle physical responses, eyes widening slightly, mouth twitching at the corner, posture shifting. When Musk finally responded, his voice lacked its typical confident tone. He acknowledged Koenigsegg had created something interesting, but suggested they would need to see how it scaled. The host pressed further, asking whether the motor design's claimed capabilities might require Tesla to reconsider its approach to electric vehicles. Musk hesitated again. He asserted that Tesla had revolutionized the automotive industry by making electric vehicles viable, building the necessary infrastructure, and demonstrating what was possible. Though his voice strengthened as he spoke, something had fundamentally changed. A moment of vulnerability had been revealed. The host continued by mentioning Koenigsegg's claimed specifications of an 86-pound motor producing 800 horsepower, asking how Tesla would respond. At this point, Musk's expression darkened, and moisture appeared to gather in the corner of his eye. Whether from emotion or fatigue remained unclear, but the visuals were unmistakable. The man who had promised to revolutionize multiple industries appeared shaken. "You idiots," he muttered before catching himself and clarifying he meant the market, and everyone who believed this development would change everything overnight. He emphasized the differences between prototyping and mass production, stressing the importance of economics and scale. But the damage was done. For a man whose personal brand was built on unshakable confidence and technological superiority, the moment was devastating. Something fundamental had shifted. For the first time in over a decade, Elon Musk looked vulnerable, and the world could sense blood in the water. What remained unknown was that worse developments were still to come. While the world was still processing Musk's televised moment of vulnerability, Koenigsegg was preparing the second act of their technological revolution, and it would prove even more devastating to Tesla's dominance. The dark matter motor wasn't just destined for Koenigsegg's ultra-exclusive hypercars, it was designed as the centerpiece of a completely new propulsion philosophy. At a private event for automotive journalists and industry insiders, Christian von Koenigsegg revealed the company's larger vision. "The dark matter motor represents a fundamental shift in how we think about electric propulsion," he stated. He then publicly praised his team of engineers, dedicating this achievement to their brilliance. They had also developed a matching battery system and control architecture that completely reimagines what a performance vehicle can be, he said. He then unveiled what Koenigsegg calls their dielectric cooling system, a revolutionary approach to battery management that floods the entire battery pack with a special non-conductive oil mixed with proprietary additives. Unlike conventional cooling systems that rely on plates or pipes attached to the bottoms of battery cells, Koenigsegg's solution provides direct cooling to every surface of each cell. The result is a battery pack that can sustain higher outputs for longer periods while remaining significantly lighter than conventional designs. But the real bombshell came when Christian von Koenigsegg explained how these technologies will be implemented in the updated JRA, their 4-seat Mega GT car. The GEM era will feature our Torb-Jawn drive system, which integrates the dark matter motor with our twin-turbo V8 engine, he announced. The motor sits just ahead of the mid-mounted engine, connected via a clutch system that allows either or both power sources to propel the car. What made this announcement so significant wasn't just the technical elegance of the solution, it was the implicit challenge to Tesla's entire approach. While Tesla had committed billions to a future built entirely around batteries, Koenigsegg was proposing a hybrid solution that delivered superior performance with less weight and complexity. In testing, the JRA's new powertrain delivers over 2,300 horsepower combined, Christian revealed. But more importantly, it does so while weighing significantly less than an equivalent all-electric system would. The message couldn't have been clearer. The future might not be all-electric after all. And Tesla's decade-long bet on battery-only vehicles was suddenly looking less like visionary foresight and more like strategic vulnerability. Industry analysts immediately recognized the implications. "What Koenigsegg has done is open up a third path," explained one automotive technology consultant. "We've had traditional combustion engines on one side and pure electric vehicles on the other. Now Koenigsegg is showing us a hybrid approach that might actually be superior to both." For Tesla, this represented an existential threat. Their entire business model, manufacturing infrastructure, and public identity were built around the premise that batteries would inevitably replace combustion engines entirely. If Koenigsegg's hybrid approach proved superior, Tesla would find itself heavily invested in a technological cul-de-sac. Consumers were taking notice. Online searches for Koenigsegg dark matter exploded overnight. Car enthusiast forums buzzed with technical analyses and comparisons to Tesla's technology. Even mainstream news outlets began questioning whether Tesla's approach to electric vehicles might have been too rigid. The technological shift was undeniable, but the psychological impact might have been even more significant. For years, Tesla had positioned itself as the unquestioned leader in automotive innovation. Now, seemingly overnight, they were playing defense, and everyone could sense it. Musk's vulnerability during the television interview suddenly seemed prescient, as if he had glimpsed the future and realized his position wasn't as secure as the world had believed. In boardrooms across the automotive industry, executives were asking a question that would have seemed unthinkable just weeks before: had Koenigsegg just outmaneuvered Tesla? 2 weeks after Koenigsegg's dark matter revelation, Tesla faced an internal crisis that would soon become very public. It began with the resignation of Tesla's chief technology officer, a departure initially described as pursuing other opportunities. But within days, 3 more senior engineers followed, all from Tesla's electric propulsion team. As the defections mounted, whispers of goodbye Tesla grew louder, signaling that even those inside the company sensed a shift in the industry's tide. Then came the leak. An internal memo, reportedly written by one of the departing engineers, found its way to several technology journalists. Its contents were explosive. For years, the automotive industry knew carbon fiber could, in theory, revolutionize motor structures. Its strength and lightweight properties promised a leap in performance. But the idea stayed on paper. Back in 2019, engineers at major companies dove into this concept, running tests and building prototypes. Yet they hit a wall. Manufacturing carbon fiber components at scale was a nightmare. Too complex, too expensive, and too risky. Teams crunched the numbers and decided the payoff wasn't worth it. Instead, they doubled down on tweaking existing technology, making small, safe improvements to motors and batteries. It felt like a smart move at the time, a way to keep production lines humming and costs in check. Then Koenigsegg flipped the script. Their dark matter motor, a carbon fiber marvel, proved the naysayers wrong. Their design achieved what simulations had long suggested was feasible, defying the doubts of manufacturing teams who dismissed it as impractical. The motor's efficiency and power density weren't just impressive, they were a wake-up call. Most alarming for competitors, Koenigsegg's approach showed signs of scalability. With the right investment, this technology could move beyond hypercars, challenging the heavy, battery-dependent designs dominating the market. The industry had played it safe. But Koenigsegg's bold move exposed a missed opportunity that could reshape the future of driving. The authenticity of the memo was never officially confirmed. But the damage was immediate. Tesla stock dropped another 12% in a single trading session. Investors and analysts began questioning whether Tesla had grown too conservative in its approach to innovation, whether the company that had revolutionized the automotive industry had itself become resistant to revolutionary thinking. As the pressure mounted, Elon Musk scheduled a press conference. The automotive world held its breath, expecting either fierce rebuttal or the announcement of Tesla's next-generation motor technology. Instead, they got something no one predicted. Elon Musk took the stage, exhaustion etched on his face. The usual energy in his stride was missing. He stood at the podium, gazing at the gathered reporters for a long moment before speaking. Innovation, he explained, isn't a straight path. It's a series of gambles. Some win. Some fail. Tesla banked on battery density, software integration, scale, and controlling their supply chain. For over a decade, those choices paid off massively. They reshaped the automotive world, forcing every carmaker to take electric vehicles seriously. But the game had changed, and Tesla would have to decide whether it could change with it. The press conference continued, not with defiance, but with reflection. Elon Musk, who had always been the bold futurist promising Mars colonies and neural symbiosis, was now speaking with something rare in his public persona: humility. He admitted that the industry had entered a new era, one where breakthroughs could come from anywhere. Koenigsegg has done something remarkable, Musk said. We respect that. But Tesla is not standing still. He paused, then added, we never have. He promised that Tesla's engineering teams had already begun evaluating lightweight motor designs, new inverter technologies, and alternative materials, including advanced carbon composites. But analysts weren't convinced. The narrative had shifted. Tesla was no longer the company catching its competitors off guard, it was now reacting. And in a world that moved at the speed of innovation, reacting often meant falling behind. Christian von Koenigsegg, meanwhile, remained mostly quiet in public. He didn't gloat, didn't issue bold predictions, and didn't attack Tesla. In interviews, He praised Musk as a visionary and reiterated that Koenigsegg's mission was not to dethrone Tesla, but to pursue the limits of engineering for the love of progress itself. This only endeared him more to the public and to engineers everywhere who admired purist innovation. Inside Koenigsegg's facility in Angelholm, a different kind of energy took hold. Engineers who had worked in relative obscurity now found themselves at the center of a global shift. Offers poured in from other manufacturers, venture capitalists begged for partnerships, and even legacy automakers sent delegations to observe the technology firsthand. Still, Koenigsegg insisted they would continue on their own terms, small, agile, and fiercely independent. "We do not build cars for everyone," Christian said in one interview. "We build ideas that show what's possible." And indeed, the implications of the dark matter motor reached far beyond Koenigsegg's production line. Universities began using the design as a case study in what happens when theoretical engineering is backed by relentless experimentation. Materials scientists saw it as a turning point for carbon fiber applications. And electric motor manufacturers, big and small, suddenly found themselves under pressure to deliver innovations they had long shelved as unfeasible. Perhaps the most telling reaction came from China. Within a month of the dark matter reveal, BYD and NIO both announced major initiatives to explore lightweight high-efficiency propulsion systems. Their press releases didn't mention Koenigsegg by name, but the timing wasn't subtle. Globally, automakers began to reassess their future product lines, asking hard questions about weight, power density, and whether their battery-heavy platforms were still competitive. For the first time since Tesla's rise, the entire industry began pivoting in a new direction, one that Tesla hadn't initiated. Tesla's engineering team scrambled to respond. Insiders reported late-night meetings, urgent testing of alternative materials, and revived prototypes that had been shelved years ago. Musk reportedly became personally involved in the motor redesign project, demanding that timelines be cut in half. But the challenge was immense. Tesla's current generation of vehicles, from the Model 3 to the Cybertruck, had been designed around a specific type of battery and motor architecture. Replacing that core technology wouldn't just mean developing a new motor, it would mean rethinking chassis layouts, cooling systems, manufacturing lines, and software control logic. It wasn't a pivot, it was a reinvention. Meanwhile, Koenigsegg capitalized on their moment with a rare move. For the first time, they offered licensing agreements. Not for the full dark matter powertrain, but for specific components and manufacturing techniques, especially related to their carbon fiber stator designs and dielectric cooling systems. The announcement stunned the automotive world. Koenigsegg had gone from boutique manufacturer to potential technology supplier in a matter of weeks. Several high-end EV startups quickly signed non-disclosure agreements to explore integration options. Even a few well-established names, rumored to include Aston Martin and McLaren, sent representatives to Sweden. Koenigsegg had done what few thought possible. They had shifted from niche to nexus. The media frenzy that followed wasn't just about the tech, it was about symbolism. Koenigsegg had become the new standard bearer for what was possible when innovation wasn't limited by scale, shareholders, or production quotas. They embodied a return to engineering purity, where imagination and physics took precedence over profit margins and market share. Christian von Koenigsegg, with his calm demeanor and articulate passion, became a folk hero of sorts, a modern-day Da Vinci armed not with canvas and brush but with torque curves and carbon fiber. Tesla still had advantages. Their software was second to none. Their supercharger network remained the gold standard for EV infrastructure. And their battery manufacturing scale gave them cost advantages that Koenigsegg could never match. But the question wasn't whether Tesla could survive. It was whether they could continue to lead. And increasingly, the answer seemed unclear. What Koenigsegg had proven was that innovation didn't require a trillion-dollar market cap. It required audacity, deep technical knowledge, and a refusal to accept industry assumptions as immovable truths. As the months passed, Tesla unveiled a concept for their next-generation motor, reportedly codenamed Phantom. It promised a lighter build, modular architecture, and new thermal management features. But critics were quick to note that many of its advertised specifications bore a striking resemblance to dark matter. Musk denied copying Koenigsegg, instead claiming Tesla had been working on similar technology for years. Yet without a working prototype or vehicle integration timeline, the announcement landed with more of a whimper than a bang. Koenigsegg, in contrast, didn't hold flashy events. They let results speak. The first customer deliveries of the JRA with the Torbjorn drive system began in late spring. Reviews were euphoric. Test drivers marveled not just at the raw power, which was beyond anything street-legal cars had delivered, but at how usable and smooth the vehicle felt. It was, they said, the first car that felt like it belonged both on a racetrack and on a city street, without any compromise in between. Koenigsegg had fused elegance with brutality, science with art. And the world took notice. Even competitors outside the automotive world began paying attention. Aerospace engineers contacted Koenigsegg about adapting the motor for electric vertical takeoff and landing (eVTOL) aircraft. Boat manufacturers explored marine applications. Robotics firms wondered if scaled-down versions could enable more compact autonomous machines. The dark matter motor had become more than a car part. It was a platform for innovation across multiple industries. Tesla, meanwhile, entered a period of introspection. They weren't defeated, far from it. But the days of unchallenged dominance were over. In board meetings, strategic discussions shifted from how do we stay ahead, to where did we go wrong. And in the background, a small team in Sweden continued refining their designs, undistracted by the noise, focused only on one goal, to prove what was possible.